Let's create a file. We'll learn about all the different methods that are present for tests. Okay. Different test methods. Just write test method. That's it. What will be big name, right? Test. See, thing is that is all will be required for your framework buildings. What are methods? Whatever we read till now, not this. Everything what we have read till now will be needed for your framework designing. So it's important to have everything in mind before we design a framework. Okay. All right. .spec.ts. Okay. So I've created a file. Now let's see all the different functions. Sorry. Closing all this. These are use things. This we can take off paste, control V. The next is test dot before all. Okay. Now test dot after all.
Okay.
Then test dot before each. Before each. Then test dot after each. Then I have a normal test. Let's say two test. Test. It's one. Test one. Test one. I am test one. Sorry. I am test one. Test two. I am test two. Okay. So I'm creating two tests. Okay. And I'm creating what? Before each, after all, and before all. So if I will
Before all.
run it, I'll run it. Let's see what is happening. Let's say create test 3 also. Okay, so I've created 3 tests and one test I've created dot before all, then dot after all, then dot before each, then dot after each. So let's see. Let's see what's happened if I run it. So let me change the name for this. That we have created test method. That's better this. Now let's run it. See the output. So in output, what is happening? Before all is running one time. That is before executing. These are the 3 tests. Before these tests are executed, before all will run one time.
Okay.
But this before each is running before every test.
Every test. Okay.
Similarly, after each is running after every test.
Okay.
But before all will run one time before the starting of all the tests, and after all will run after one time after all the tests are run. Understood? Difference between before each and before all, and after each and after all.
Yes. Yeah.
Understood? Clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, next is we create one more file. I'll push all the code so I can take the latest code from the Git. Okay.
Okay.
Test method dot spec dot Now, let me create some more methods which are provided. Okay. So this remove it. So first is test.describe. What I can do here only I can use. What I can do in test.describe is test.describe. Right? Firefox. See, so what does this test.describe will do? This test.describe is just, it has no work, it has no implementation. See, this before all, after all, before each, after each, these are called hooks in Playwright. Okay, so what I can do, test.describe is basically is used for reporting feature. If I would not have used test.describe, so what will happen, I'll show you. Just I'll see the report. Okay, so
Okay.
what it will show in report, and if I use test.describe, what it will show. This is for reporting purpose basically. So this I have not used test.describe. So let's see how the report looks like. Okay. See, your report is looking like this. Okay, test one, test two like this. Whatever test was there, it was reported like this. So what I did, I included test.describe. Inside that, I have written everything. All the test I written, say test.describe end here, and it starts here. If you click on that, it will show here. See, this is the ending. That means everything I have written inside test.describe. And I also gave a heading for the test.describe. Now if I run test.describe, okay, and see the report, you'll see the difference. So it is basically for reporting purpose. So let it run, then we'll see the report.
Okay, last.
Same thing. It will run same thing. Test.describe will not do any activity. Okay. Same thing it ran, but you see the report. See, reporting will look different here. Here it was just the test, but here it will take that it is present inside this. That heading will come basically. If I use test.describe. Understood?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Next. Next, we'll see some more functions which are present in but playwrights. So these are basically hooks. Before, when you see before, after, these are hooks. Okay, this is for every language. If you use Cucumber also there, if it is before, after, means these are hooks. Okay. Next is test.skip. Test.skip. So let's see what is the use of the skip. Not skipped, it is skip. Okay. Then next is your test dot only. Okay, next is your test dot fail. Next is your test dot fix me. Okay. Next is your test We'll understand everything, don't worry. Okay. So first is these all are throwing error. Why? Because same name is there. Test.skip. Okay. Let me do one by one, then only you'll understand. Okay. So what I can do is keep all this test method here. Let me do one by one. Okay. If I do everything else, it will be not understanding. So first test.skip will see. Okay. Got it touch. Let's run it. Let's see. Test method. Sorry. Two. So if I have one test.skip and other normal test, so what will happen? Let's run it. Let's see what happens. See, one skipped. If I write tested skip means, you see, I am method 2 is not the name. That means it will skip that particular test. It will not run that test. Okay. If I write tested skip means that will not run that test. Okay. Next is test dot only. So if I write test dot only, so what it will do? Let's see. See, test when I write test dot only means I am method 2. That means this do not executed. If you use test dot only means only that will execute and others will not get executed. Understood?
Okay.
One pass that only one got executed. Now next is test dot fail. Okay. Let's see what happens if I use test dot fail. See. It failed the test case. What it mean? That means this will fail. This is just the reverse. If your test case fail, then this will pass. If it pass, it will fail. So it is telling expected to fail but pass. That's why it failed. So here what I have done, I have written a line which will forcefully throw an error. Okay, throw new error means it will forcefully throw an error. As a result, this particular test case will fail. If I run it, you'll see that that particular test case will fail now. Because I'm forcefully throwing an error. See, my test case failed. Okay, one failed. See, this one particularly, this test case failed. So, if I use test dot fail, then what will happen if I run it? See, 3 passed. That means although an error occurs, it got passed. Understood? Test dot fail will pass if there is an error. It's just the reverse. See, there's an error, but it got passed. See, there is an error. Okay. But it got passed in the report. Clear?
Yeah.
The next is test dot fix me. Test dot fix. This one. Now let's run it. What is the use of test dot fix me? One skipped. That means it didn't run. So this to run, I am test1, test2, this did run. Test.skip and test.fixme both are same. Okay, it will not run. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Next is slow. Here inside test will write that. What will write? Test dot slow. So basically here it will just stop the execution. So what is the use of test.slow? It will give 3 times the default time. Okay, if in the configuration file, Playwright configuration file, if some time is mentioned, okay, timeout. Here we have not mentioned, but we can mention the timeout also here. If we have mentioned timeout 3000 second, all your line wait for 3000 second. And if I write this particular line, test method 2, right? Where it went. Testers loop, it will wait for 3000 into 3, 9000 second. So this will basically multiply 3 into the default timeout which you have mentioned in your packet chart config file, and it will wait for that time. So normally what happens, now we have not given any default time here. So what is happening? There is a default time 5 second of Playwright which is it waiting for every action which you are doing. If I mentioned 3000 means it is 30 second or 3 second, whatever I want to mention, I can mention, and that will wait for that time. If I want to explicitly make it happen. But if I don't write means it will wait for 5 seconds, which is the default timeout. If I give explicitly here, let's say 30 second, and if I write 10 dot slow, every line it will wait for 30 second, but here it will wait for 30 into 3, 90 second. Now I have not written,
Okay.
it is waiting for default, let's say 5 second. If I write 10 dot slow means it will wait for 3 into 5, 15 second. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the way use of test dot slow. Okay. Now,
Hmm.
you understood, right? What
Yes.
is that? So I have written a test here, right? So that is also for
Yeah.
reporting. One we saw now, one we saw, right? This one. But test.describe, that is for reporting.
Yeah.
So this is
It's
basically, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one more feature for good reporting. Inside test I can use. This is test.describe what I am doing. I am writing outside, everything is recent, inside test.describe. So inside test only, if I want to use, I can use reporting in this way. Let me tell you. Good reporting. Let's write I use good reporting. Okay. So inside that, let's say I have written 2 lines. Console.log. This is my first test. Then console.log. This is my second log. This is my third log. 3 lines I've written. If I
Okay.
execute this, if I execute, just remove all this so that you can understand. Just one test I am executing. Okay. If I execute this and see the report, how it will show me, let's see. This is purely for reporting purpose. Okay, what will study
Mhm.
this method. So if I now open the report,
Mm.
we'll see how the report looks like. It's a good reporting and it will look like just like this only. Now, for each of the line, I want to have something in the report. So what I can do, test dot step, test dot step, tab, this is my first step. So that's the first line only. Second line.
So this is for the every single lines the report will be generated, right?
Now you see the difference in the reporting. Okay, you
Okay.
understand.
Okay.
Same thing we are doing using this. So you'll understand what is
Mhm.
the difference. Okay. So for this we closed like this, for this also we closed like this. Okay. Now for this we also closed. Then for this we have to close with one more curly braces. And this one. This is what. Now see, same thing for all the 3 lines what I did. I created 3 steps. Okay, this is for the first line, this is for the second line, this is for the third line. I created 3 test steps. Now if I execute it, output is same. Everything will same. But only thing what will happen is the reporting, it will look different now. If I run it, the output will be same. But we'll see what is the difference it will happen. For each of the lines which I have written, I have created one tested step. You can also do 2 lines in one step, and instead of 3, I could have created 2. And here only I have written console. This is my first step, console.log. This is my second step. It's up to me how many steps I want to introduce. Here I have introduced 1 step for each lines, but also I could have introduced 2 steps in which 1 step would have 2 lines and other step would have 1 line. Okay, but here I have created 3 lines to show in a better way. So now if I open the report, you'll see what is the difference. See, good reporting. Okay. This is my first, wait for a minute. But if I go inside this and if I go inside this, you see only before hooks, after hooks is there. And your steps are executed. So it is not showing, but here it is showing this is my first step. If you go, this is my second step, this is my third step. It is showing in a better detailed way, right?
Okay. So every step we can see it. Okay.
Okay. So that's why we will be using tested steps. If I want a better detailed reporting, then I'll be using this tested steps for each of the lines. So I can combine line, or I can also use for 2 lines. Other line I can remove it. That also I can do. Not necessarily I have to use for every line. Okay, for 2 lines I can use. The other line I can also write normally in which I am writing. That also will work.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
So this was different types of reporting. Sorry, this was different
Methods.
types of functions we have for tester. Okay.
Okay.